Welcome to Conversations. My name is Suresh Kocharal. Prime Minister Modi asked the private sector to be the driving force of development. In a strong message to investors and opponents, Prime Minister Modi on Tuesday said his government was not lacking in political will to take decisions based on a nation-first approach and urged the wealth creators to be the primary driving force of development in what is seen as a retort to the Congress's allegations that it is a government of crony capitalists and that the BJP-led government and NDA coalition was aiding it. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi was addressing the delegates of the Confederation of Indian Industry in the inaugural session, which was titled A Journey Towards Viksit Bharat, a post-Union Budget 24-25 conference that was organized by the CIA in New Delhi. The meeting held at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi saw delegates come across the country joining him virtually and 1,000 delegates from the conference itself who were present in the hall as the Prime Minister addressed them, including diplomats, captains of industry, think tanks, and of course, academics. The government's outline was very specifically presented by the Prime Minister. The participants, of course, understood the importance of the event because Prime Minister Modi was presenting what was considered his vision for the third term in office. And that was all about development, development, and development. Prime Minister Modi has indicated this clearly before the election itself, that his third term in office is all about economy. And despite not having a majority of its own, the NDA government will bite if its need arises. This is very clearly indicated by the Prime Minister in his earlier talks with a few during the budget session and the pre-budget session. The Union Budget 2024-25, which was presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman last week, is an indication of how things will move forward from here. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said that the nation can never fall back upon when its citizens have achieved stability in every aspect of life and are filled with enthusiasm. He expressed his gratitude towards the Confederation of Indian Industry for inviting him to address the occasion. Referring to the discussion during the pandemic that he had with the business community regarding the apprehensions they had about the way the growth would come about during that period and later, the Prime Minister remembered the optimism which was expressed at that time by him and the captains of the industry and did mention the rapid growth witnessed from there on and the country moving forward. Prime Minister Modi told the delegates that they were discussing a journey towards Viksit Bharat, a concept that PM Modi has been pushing for the last 1 month in office. This is not just a change of sentiment, the Prime Minister said, this reflects a change in confidence. Prime Minister Modi was reiterating India's position as the 5th largest economy in the world and the rapid strides it was making to reach the 3rd place. The Prime Minister also recalled the time when the present government was elected to power in 2014 and highlighted the need of the hour to bring economy back on track. Because before then, the pre-2014 era, the nation was in the list of 5 fragile economies. And there were scams by the dozen, corruption everywhere, and scams worth lakhs of crores of rupees. All these had set the industry back. Without delving into the specific of the economic conditions outlined by the white paper that was presented by the government, Prime Minister Modi encouraged the captains of the industry to think and think positive and asked the organizations to review the document and compare it to the past economic situations. He was very clear, pre-2014 and post-2014 was all different. Prime Minister Modi also emphasized that the current government has elevated India's economy to new heights and rescued it from dire straits. Putting forth some facts from the recently presented Union Budget, the Prime Minister compared the current budget of 48 lakh crore rupees with the 16 lakh crores budget of 2013-14, an increase of 3 times. The capital expenditure, which is actually the biggest measure of resource investment that any budget would see, was 90,000 crore rupees in 2004 and taken to 2 lakh crores in the 10 years. And of course, today it's a 2 times increase. Then But when you compare it with the most important fact that the indicator has reached beyond 11 lakh crores now, which is a huge number. That is more than 5 times increase compared to 2004. Reiterating that his government is determined to look after every sector of the Indian economy. The Prime Minister said, if you want growth, if you look at different sectors, you will get an idea how India is progressing by focusing on each of them. Drawing a comparison with the previous government, Prime Minister Modi said that the last 10 years had seen budgets of the railways itself and highways have seen a huge jump of almost 8 times. Meanwhile, the agriculture and defense budgets also witnessed a jump of more than 4 times and 2 times respectively. And that is what the Prime Minister was stressing on, that every sector has seen a growth over the last 10 years. During the last 10 years of the NDA government, Prime Minister Modi said the budget had not just scaled up the spending but also ushered in lower taxes, a comment that was aimed at those criticizing the government's taxation policies. In 2013-14, UPA's last budget, size of the budget as indicated before was 16 lakhs. Now it of course has increased to 48 lakhs. Similarly, capex is 5 times during NDA. So he kept stressing these facts. And that is most important because growth is real. It is not imaginary. Prime Minister Modi also had said that the budget has given a massive thrust to the green energy and other areas where Indian industry could become a large player. He urged the industry to work in competition with the government, and be partners in implementing the EPF-led employment initiative that was launched in this budget. Prime Minister Modi said that the 10 years that the government has been in office, it has sought to provide a stable and predictable regime and navigated the economy through multiple challenges, from the COVID to a once-in-a-century pandemic that it was in several sectors. And today, in many parts of the world, the government of India had helped out and of course faced even the natural calamities at home. All in all, the Prime Minister Modi's address to the corporate honchos at the CII meet is the first in the series to prod the captains of the Indian industry to do their bit to provide employment in a big way. This has to go hand in hand with the top line growth that these companies are planning. And surely they need to ramp up their act too. And that is the line Prime Minister Modi took. Surely we'll see more in the days to come. Keep watching. Jai Hind.